Oh, Jason Derulo getting high. What a lovely intro to the show. Hello, everyone. It's me. It's a Deano. Well, my actual name's Luke, but that's my persona because when it comes to show business, you gotta have a stage name. Because I'm not honest for a second up here. You will never know the real me. Oh, yuck. Well. Welcome everyone. This is episode 2. It's not really episodic, it's just this is the second time doing this show, which is Deano Reviews, where me, Deano, your pal, I can be your pal if you want me to. I don't mind, I'm pretty open to that. But it's where I review the latest movies that I've seen, which I've managed to see, and it's not sometimes like I managed to only see one new film in a week, sometimes a couple, sometimes maybe not even a new movie at all, and I just review, some piece of recent media, maybe some old media that maybe, who knows, that someone requested me through the email, or that which I just managed to see, and I didn't see a new movie, but I saw Shark Boy and Lava Girl yesterday. I'll review that. Why not? I don't know why I'd be watching that film of all films, so I just popped in my head. But yeah, last week I was very nervous. I was very. Maybe it's just a combination of not knowing how the tech worked, and also I can be a bit rambly. But hopefully it was entertaining rambly for those of you who listen to it. For those of you new people listening now, hello there. Hopefully this is a good impression, and by the end of this, you would have grown a tolerance / endurance for my high prepubescent voice and my manner. But yeah, I honestly hope that this will be fun to listen to. But because I just rely on love. But I hope everyone had a happy Halloween yesterday. Happy November, my favourite holiday. Just November, the whole month is a holiday. I mean, to those Yanks, it's Thanksgiving, but I mean, I don't know if the UK really has a proper November holiday. I mean, there's Black Friday, but that's not really a holiday. That's just something shops do. But there you go. Yeah. It was a nice Halloween. Me and my pal Cameron, who had our show yesterday, Slightly Speaking, we dressed up as Venom and Carnage in morph suits. And so it was a good old fun time. Morph suits are very difficult when you want to carry personal belongings, because if you wear trousers underneath the morph suits but put your phone and wallet in there, it just looks a bit bulgy on the side. It just kind of ruins the aesthetic. But yeah, I hope everyone, hope I'm not enunciating too much, by the way. Just want to just make your ears bleed. That's what I want to do. That's the aim of this show. Yeah, everyone had a happy Halloween. Coincidentally, the only new film that I managed to see between last week's episode and now is Halloween, the 2018 one, not the original. Out of all the franchise. Of all the movies in the franchise, which is very convoluted franchise, Halloween, I've seen the original one, and now this one, which is it is a sequel, but even though there's a movie that came out after the original called Halloween 2, that's retcon. This is another sequel. It's very confusing. In this franchise, there's 3 movies called Halloween. There's the original, a remake by Rob Zombie, and this one. So they just want to bloody confuse us. I don't know what else they could have called it. They could have called it Halloween 2, but there was already another film called Halloween 2, which is the sequel to the Rob Zombie remake from 2007 or some malarkey. But anyway, I'm gonna try to. I just want to be all fancy and play a clip from the trailer, and then we'll review it. It's the only recent film I've seen. So for most of this episode, I'm going to try to milk that old cow, that old bloody. It's utterly believable. What am I like? And then after, I'm gonna talk a bit about the new episode of Doctor Who, because I just want to make that a thing too, because I'm quite a Doctor Who fan. But yeah, here we are.
He's waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Get out of the room! Get inside!
should.
Can you close the closet door?
Oh, Spookum Magookum is Michael Myers. Haha, no, but not Austin Powers. That would be funny. Oh no, it's the guy in a William Shatner mask. And that, I think that's like that's the most famous little factoid about the Halloween films, is that the original Halloween was made so cheaply that they just sent a guy off to find just like a cheap Halloween mask, and they just found this Captain Kirk Star Trek mask, and they just painted it white, and they dyed the hair black. Yeah, they dyed the hair black, and that's the and they widened the eyes. That was it. That's the iconic Halloween costume, a Halloween mask, I should say. Not really. He just wears like a jumpsuit or something, and yeah, just funny. I think William Shatner is flattered by it. I wonder if they for the mask in this movie, because it's set, of course, 20 years later to today, that they just modeled the mask after what William Shatner looks like today, which is just weight-wise not the same. just a fat Michael Myers mask. Just stuff some things in his cheeks. Oh dear. But yeah, this film is interesting. Was it scary? No. Well, it depends. I can't just say no when it like oh no, it's not scary. I'm sure, like, I don't know, someone might, but and that's not just like, oh yeah, I'm a big boy, I didn't find it scary, gosh. But it was good. It was yeah, it was good fun. The reason why I'm thinking about it a lot is because the movie is very much, of course, is a sequel to the original Halloween, which, when it comes to the original Halloween, it's because it was the launch pad of like horror cliches for today, like the slasher flick, like, oh, don't go in there, and I don't know, horny teenagers getting killed. It started it off, and now it's become part of it's become like part of horror. It's what made those type of films what they are, like, and everyone's used to them now. Everyone takes the mick out of them, like, oh, why do the person go in the closet? Why don't they just call the police or something? Why do they act like an idiot? It was due to that movie. So when I was watching it, even though I had respect for it, because it was one of the it's done a lot for the genre. Obviously, it was made in like the late 70s, I think, but I think it was just the case that I was watching it like, oh, this cliche, but that's the thing, I can't do that, because the movie, like, at the point it was made, it wasn't a cliche, it was an originator of slasher films. But as the movie goes, I mean, the original, I mean, I don't know if the acting's very good. I remember when watching it, like, quite a bit ago, I just remember the acting not being so great, and like, of course it's cheesy because it's made from the 70s, and some of it is a bit over the top, but sorry, I should make it a pound. I have a bit of a cough. And there's another one. But it was still, of course, it's still a freaky concept, just a random guy in a mask following you about. There's no reason he chooses Jamie Lee Curtis in that first film. He just, if I remember right, he just spots her and suddenly just follows her around. Like, he escapes, and he just follows her around and just kills her friends one by one, and leaving her. So pretty much, like, I mean, when it comes to, like, I don't know, the xenomorph and Alien, of course, like, he's hunting down the crew one by one until it's Ripley, because it's a ship in the middle of space. There's no one else to go after. Jamie Lee Curtis, like, eventually the movies try to, like, go like, oh no, Michael Myers was Jamie Lee Curtis's cousin or something, like some relation, like, I don't know, somehow their paths crossed. But no, the new movie pretty much said no, which I do like, because the franchise has made it so convoluted, and it's just tonal shifts and remakes and sequels and prequels and blah blah blah, that like in the trailer it literally said like, oh, wasn't Michael Myers her brother or something? Like, no, people just lied about that. I'm like, oh, thank you. It does. I do like it when, I know, don't overcomplicate it. It's just a random guy just going after this girl. There's like no relation. There's like no reason to. That's the freaky thing. There's no utter reason. Michael Myers could have gone after anyone, but in that first film, I know. I remember he just spots her, and like, oh, I'm gonna go after her. I'm gonna hide behind a hedge, and I'm gonna like stand outside a school window and just be weird. But this film, because it's a sequel to the cheesy Halloween film, it doesn't try to. It still has a lot of that. It has that tone. Heck, the at the beginning, the intro is like a reverse of a pumpkin like being flattened, but it like grows back into a normal looking pumpkin, and the font is the same font that was used in the first Halloween. It's like all very orange, and like it has that 70s vibe, but of course it's set in modern day. So like it's a kind of a love letter to the original, even though the not Wes Craven, John Carpenter, John Carpenter. He produced this film. He took part in the music for this film, even though when it came to the music, I didn't really sense anything new. It just felt like just using the theme over and over again from the iconic da 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 da. That was my epic interpretation, or should I say, imitation. But yeah, I mean, still good on him for like. I guess it was just kind of giving it his approval, because it does a good job. I mean, so my friends next to me, they were laughing a lot through it. I was just trying to feel the suspense, because he's trying to make me feel tense. While my friends next to me were laughing, because obviously, like, again, it's borrowing a lot from the clip. It's a sequel, quote unquote, be it 20 years later and after a bunch of other sequels, prequels and remakes before it. It's a sequel to pretty much the originator of the slasher movie cliches. Of course, there was Friday the 13th and Nightmare and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but Halloween, to my knowledge, was what started it off. Like the old I don't want, just like, oh, don't go in there, masked dude with a knife or something, trying to kill someone, like pretty much, oh, what was that? I heard a noise, I'm gonna go outside and look. Oh, nothing, go back inside, nothing, then go and does something, then you see him in the distance, then nothing, then, oh, look, he's out of nowhere, stab, barely, maybe potentially see the killer's mask, or like Freddy's claws or something like that. I mean, there's still a way of making it suspenseful and creepy, because obviously you're meant to go, oh, I wouldn't want to be in that scenario, for obvious reasons. I don't know who would. I don't really, like, hey, if you could be in any movie, what movie would you be in? Oh, I would want to be in Nightmare on Elm Street. So you want to be in a world where a guy goes into your nightmares and dreams while you're sleeping and kill you? Yeah. You sure you don't want to be in Spider-Man? No, I want to be in... Well, actually, it is... I mean, if you want to be in Spider-Man, like, you probably wouldn't get the choice to be Spider-Man, which you'll probably just be a random guy, which would probably make it worse, because, I don't know, you're just doing something and Green Goblin comes out of nowhere and ruins your bloody day, like steals your hot dog or something, and like, well, at least I don't have the responsibilities of Spider-Man. I'm going off topic. Halloween. Yeah, so, like, I think they were laughing at the fact that, like, it's so cheesy and they're so used to it. Like, the old, oh, what was that noise? I'm gonna go look. And instead of more of a, oh no, he's gonna die, it was more like, oh, for God's sake, why run into the forest with the killer nearby? Why not just run down the road and find some civilization or something? It still has a lot of that. I mean, I was hoping, since it's, is modern day, like, well, today's filmmaking, people will go, hey, let's try to go back on the cliche of characters doing idiotic things that would get them killed. But no, a lot of them still do idiot things. But as for like Jamie Lee Curtis's character, it does a Sarah Connor in the sense of oh man, here we go again. Oh god. I'm just looking at it shows the audio level when I talk. So when I'm talking, it's out of green, but when I cough, it goes to like an orange. So I do really apologize. I'll try to turn away. But yeah, it does a Sarah Connor where, like, in the first one, normal, everyday, innocent, pure girl, and now, due to the events of what occurred, like, pretty much a badass. Terminator. Well, in Terminator is a cyborg, and this one is a masked dude. Because it was interesting because if that happened to me, like, all my friends were killed and I almost died by this mass killer, fear for my life, I'd have some serious PTSD trauma. Well, it kind of depends, but she just, she just really got paranoid and did a bunch of security stuff on her house and trained in, like, firearms, and oh no, I don't know. A part of me was like, oh, is that a bit too cliche? That instead of just being a really frail, scared old lady now, that, just is trying to forget about it and, like, is maybe in a retirement home or a mental home, or just has a carer, is now this, like, bold, strong, lady who, like, got security around her house and firearms. Because obviously, that's still really cool, because I don't know how old Jamie Lee Curtis is, but it's good she gets this opportunity to come back as this strong extension, or what's the word, just like, that's that character. Then this is her all these years later. Like, she gets to just play her role again, but in the context of it being all these years later, and, like, what would happen to her, what did happen to her after this traumatic event. But yeah, it's still cool though. It's still cool. I was just wondering, like, would that be the case? But obviously, I can say now it's the case for her character. She just had a bunch of shotguns. And training all these years for Michael Myers to come back. But the kills in this movie, though, a lot of them could have gone a bit more out. It was 18, so it could have done a lot more. It could have gotten more gory, but most of the killings were more of the aftermath. Like, I don't know, they found a body and, like, oh, this is what happened to it, instead of, like, showing up close and personal with a knife, because that's Michael's main weapon of choice. And but no, kind of pushes the knife down and cuts to, like, a scream, but still not bad. I mean, if it just over and over again just cut away right before he slams the knife down, that would get irritating, because the kills is a part of it. But yeah, what else is there? Yeah, it's good. It's just it is, a lot of it is suspenseful. I mean, it was distracting again when my friends next to me were laughing, but I've got a lot of it kind of borrows the cheesiness from the 70s version, and some of the dialogue is probably a bit over the top. Like, I've been praying for him to escape all these years. Why would you do that? So I can kill him. Da da da. And the line right after that is the guy going, well, that was a stupid thing to pray for, which I'm like, yeah, so she was praying for a serial killer to get loose and kill a few people so she could then kill him. Oh gosh. So I'm just thinking about the ending. If you see, do I recommend it? Sure. I mean, now that the holidays are over, I mean, I don't know if you're really in a spooky mood to see a Halloween film, both figuratively and literally. But it's still not a bad watch. It's still good. Like, I'd give it like a 7, I'd say. Like, for a sequel, like a sequel set 20 years later after an original film, it doesn't do a half bad job, which it seems to be something that's going on quite a bit nowadays. Literally, I don't know, a month or so ago was The Predator, another installment in a franchise from the 80s. I didn't get around to seeing that. Apparently it was mixed. Apparently very comedic than people would have expected. But yeah. What else is there to say? Oh, the highlight. I mean, I think everyone agree. Like, there's this kid in it. One of Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter's friends is a babysitter. She babysits this kid, and he is the highlight of the film because he looks like 10, but he said the most adult thing. Okay, isn't a spoiler, but here's another cough. Do apologize. But she was on the phone to I think her boyfriend, and she's pretty much saying, "Oh, we're gonna do the stuff. Are we gonna do the stuff alleging to weed?" And when she gets off the phone, the kid's like, "I know you're talking about weed, right?" And I was like, "I like that kid." And just his reaction, like, this horrific thing is happening, and his reaction just made it more funny. A lot of unintentional funny moments, or maybe they were intentional, because it's very, very cheesy. They treat Michael Myers like he's inhuman. Like, I know, like, Jason Voorhees, I've only seen the first one. I've seen it's pretty much like for all the classic horror films, I've only seen the first one, the first Halloween, first Friday, not Freddy. Goodness gracious. I should get a Strepsil. I know my parents are listening, so that's what my mum's probably gonna say. Hi, Mum. Now I've just made myself look like a dork. But then again, I am sitting on my own talking about movies, so, and in a minute Doctor Who, so you got to embrace it, really. But that's my transition into my next sort, my ums. But I've seen, like, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't seen the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the first Scream, because those seem to be the top slashers, which I don't know if slasher is a dying breed, because some people are saying that this could have gone against the cliches that people expected of slashers, but it kind of just, I don't know, maybe as a love letter to the first, it just stayed in them, kind of as expected. Some things I didn't really expect, but, like, didn't expect in, like, I didn't expect this, but it's still quite kind of funny. Well, not funny, but, like, that's an interesting twist for this part. But of course, a lot of it, like, they could, like, he's not, like, I know Jason Voorhees, like, in the films, eventually he becomes a zombie. Freddy Krueger is like a spirit of some sorts, but Michael Myers, it seems he's just a normal guy. So, like in the first one, he gets shot several times. He gets stabbed in the eye with a coat hanger, which, even though you only see Michael's face for, like I said, I'm glad I didn't do a full view of his face because it's meant to be a mystery. You see kind of parts of it and kind of make out what he might look like, but it's still meant to be, like, ominous, because he's meant to be this pure evil thing. He just kills, he just does it. You see his little bruised eye from the first film, so, which was good nod. I mean, well done, but yeah, he's meant to be a normal guy, but in the first one he gets shot several times and then he falls off a balcony. They look over and he's just gone. This one, so many things happen to him. So many things happen to him, and he's still going. He gets shot in the cheek and shot in the shoulder. He's just still going on. Like, he has a very low pain tolerance, but I mean, he should be out for the count. Like, if someone saw him, don't just assume he's dead by, like, oh yeah, I just shot him a few times. No, just point blank in the head. Oh god. But like a lot of the characters, I was sympathetic. Like even though it shows a character, oh, that person seems really nice. Oh, give it about 5 minutes and dead. Just a lot of them are just normal teenagers who are just very nice and just doing their own thing, and they still get killed, which really fuels your hate. Like what? Like, oh, bugger off, Michael. Just like you just took away like I don't know. I was getting really like in my mind a bit existential about like, oh, that all the memories made and all the memories could have been made by that her and the granddaughter, all gone now because Michael killed him. That's sad, even though I know it's a film. But yeah, that's yeah, I felt bad for them because they were nice teenagers and they got killed. I mean, as for the stuff with I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis, I forget the character's actual name. I feel like her granddaughter got a bit more development due to show a few scenes with her friends and her boyfriend and like some high school stuff. She got a bit more development than her actual daughter. But she did have a really good moment, the confrontation with Michael near the end. I mean, but then there's like her husband, which is like, oh, he's meant to be funny because he's saying kooky dad things that are a bit inappropriate. Ooh. So, maybe the writing was just a bit iffy, iffy and cheesy on purpose. It's all, if it's a love letter, all is forgiven. But be that as it may, it's still a fun watch. What else? People say I should write notes. I feel this is just more natural because I feel if I just go on and see what my brain comes up with, I don't know, it just makes it more authentic and human. I mean, that's probably a bit deep, but I don't know, if I had notes in front of me, then like makes it a bit scripted. And I mean, who knows? I mean, after this, I'm probably gonna remember something I could have said, but as long as I get my thoughts across, and it's just me having a chat, be it with a microphone. But I, of course, it's when you like when going out like, oh, that was realistic. If that really happened, there'd be like 50 police cars. They would do all. They have alarms going off. Hey, there's a serial killer. We definitely know there's a serial killer about it. It's killed like 3 people because the one police officer has seen it all happen. They wouldn't just go around a few streets, go stay in and lock your doors. No, on the news. Like, immediately, alarms, 50 police cars, and then they'll just find Michael and shoot him and he'd die, but then the movie will be over too quickly. But, yeah, it just seems he's inhuman, Michael Myers, and I don't know if they're making more movies to this. What if they call it Halloween 2 or something, then there's already a Halloween 2, but then again, there's already 2 films called Halloween. But yeah, well, I think that's about the gist. Yeah, good. Is fun time. I mean, nothing to write home about, but to some better than expected. And if you like the first, then you'll like this one. I mean, the first kind of frustrated me in the sense of like, well, because I already knew the cliches and like, oh, nothing. There he is, nothing. Oh, she's dead. Next person, nothing, dead. But yeah, it wasn't as gratuitous as as I thought again though with the today's rating and what you can do. But it's good to know that Michael Myers still a horror icon. He's got a new film. There you go. I mean, Scream has a TV show. Texas Chainsaw Massacre I think has had several remakes. Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street had a remake. Friday the 13th had a remake. This is a sequel, and it also had a remake. What is it with this? Psycho had a remake, but it's shot for shot. It's like everywhere nowadays. Jesus Christ. Eventually, they're just gonna find just whatever obscure 80s thing and just do something with it. Oh, a sequel. Oh, do people want a sequel to? I don't know. What's something obscure? Commando. anyone heard of Commando? It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I would recommend it because it's just masculine 80s adrenaline turned to the max, and it's great. Oh, so funny. It's like at the end he sticks a pipe in the guy and like let off some steam bin it, and it's so riot. Yeah, good time. Yeah, reasonably good time. There you go. That's how I describe it. But I remember watching the first Scary Movie, which I watched that before Scream. Has anyone ever watched the first Scary Movie? Like, legitimately is quite funny. Probably should have watched it at the age I did. Yeah. It had moments unintentionally funny, but maybe that was just the wit of it, because like and like, you know, cheesy, like, but so, you know, some of it good, just good because there you go. I'm surprised after 20 years they didn't, I don't know, just give Michael the electric chair. I guess that depended on where he was in. I don't. They like. So I'm just thinking about all the things in it, but yeah, that's Halloween. If I think of anything else, I'll say. For the rest of this episode, well, just gonna talk about the new Doctor Who, really. So just gonna play the trailer for that. This was episode 4. Last week I tried to zoom through episodes 1, 2, and 3, but I was running out of time. So maybe after I talk about this for as much as I can, like I talked about Halloween for as much as I can, then I realised I was going too much. So I just moving on to this. This was episode 4, which came out on Sunday. I believe the Arachnids in the UK. So let's talk about that.
Problem in this city, Yaz. Glad to be home.
Home, Daisy.
Tell me exactly what's going on, omitting no detail, no matter how strange.
Wasn't great. I didn't find it that great. Of course, I'm a Doctor Who's like the thing I'm most nerdy about. But, of course, every series has its duds. Sometimes a series comprises mostly of duds, like Piero Capaldi's first 2 series comprise of mostly meh episodes, but like it comprised of like good moments within them, with only like a handful of legitimately wholly good as a whole episodes, like Mummy on the Orient Express, or maybe Flatline. Heaven Sent is like one of the best ever, I think. I think with a TH. This though, it started off good, but then it just got political, and I'm like, don't do this. Like, not even like subtly, but like on the nose, like annoyingly so. And the writing just, I don't know, just too, what's the word? Just, I can't think of it. I can't think of the word. It's like, it's augmented. Like, I think that's the word. But like, when the Doctor was like thinking that the American guy was Ed Sheeran, like, stop referencing modern day things. Oh god, by the end of this I'm just gonna cough most of the time. But I don't know, I'm trying to remember things about it, but like things don't pop up in my head. Like, if none of you have seen it, so this is what I'm gonna talk about for the I think pretty much the rest of the time now. But it didn't tie up any loose ends. Like, I spoilers, I suppose. If you haven't watched it yet, well, thanks for listening so far. I mean, but then again, if you weren't interested in learning my thoughts on Halloween, if you stay till this point, very thank you. You're a kind human. Well, I assume so. I mean, could be dogs listening. I'll stop right there. But just there were so many loose ends. Like, the episode ended with like the Doctor trapping all these like big spiders in a room, and it just never went back to it. So like, is the Doctor just going to leave those spiders there to just suffocate now? Well, not suffocate, but like starve to death and die? That doesn't seem very Doctor-y, because the Doctor was against shooting them, but just going to leave them to just die in agony in a room on their own. And what about all the other spiders in London, or even England? What about that? What about all the other toxic waste? And I don't know, it could have done that a lot better. I'm just trying to remember things about it now. The writing, you know, I didn't really notice, like I said, I felt for the start, it was very, companions ask a question, then they react to something, and then the Doctor would say something like show offy, and then rinse and repeat. It seems to have stopped now. My favourite part of this episode is just Graham. Just a lot of stuff. Graham's just the best. I wish Graham and Wilfred would meet, because that would make... They're so both sweet, like, older chaps. And Graham is just such a lovely guy. And, I mean, I don't watch The Chase, but for a guy, to my knowledge, you know, has, of course, had experience being a game show host, and I think has done music on the side, and maybe not much acting stuff. He's really good. Like, the stuff when he's in the house, the house where the house where his spouse used to live, who passed away, and you could see his eyes are beginning to water up, and he's not even saying anything, and it's just so heartbreaking. And it just, that stuff is great. Like, that was like that was the most emotional part of the episode. Besides that, just giant spiders. The effects were good though. Like I said, I can tell they got on a bigger budget. Just they're doing crane shots, like the it just looks good. Heck, in the first episode they could afford a crane. Don't know if it's like a literal crane or just part of a crane or something that looks like a crane, but there you go. Oh god, I do apologize. This is the cough episode. But besides that, I don't know, it's a bit like Ghost Miner. I just can't really remember a whole lot. The thing that just mostly sticks out is the caricature American guy who, you know, did the best with what he was given, who to me sounded like Alec bloody Baldwin. He did the best he can give him, but, you know, just, I don't know, when they made a Trump reference, like, it just makes me cringe a bit. I mean, go ahead, you could be political if you want, but just not so on the bloody nose. And like, oh no, they're gonna say his name, and because I had the subtitles and I saw the name before, like, I said saw the word Trump before that they said it, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, keep out of Doctor Who. I don't know, it's just the fact that it makes it so dated, and Doctor Who, I feel, should be something timeless, like the Twilight Zone, like something that was made years and years ago, but still has messages that you know we can still learn about to this day. Like, if, like, I don't know, 60 years from now someone watches this episode, like, Trump, who's that? Like, and it would just, the reference would be just lost on you. And like, I don't know, I mean, even though I know it's meant to be a throwaway thing, it's not something pivotal, but I don't know, maybe it was something. Like, maybe the message of this episode is that Americans suck. But yeah, just trying to think more about it, because, like, it's a bit like, I don't know, I can watch Heaven Sent, like, or Amy's Choice. They don't, to my knowledge, they don't make any like, if you watched it in the 60s or watched it in the 2100s, whatever, blah blah blah, like, it still has that momentum and that message. Like, Heaven Sent's about dealing with grief, which is a universal thing. Like, there's, like, for instance, an episode of the Twilight Zone where, what was it? I didn't watch the whole thing, I just kind of, like, watched a summary of it, where there's this kid who has a grandmother, and she, and before she passes away, gives her grandson this little telephone. And when she passes away, the parents are noticing, like, he's talking on the phone a lot, and he's saying, oh, his grandma, and they don't believe him because she's passed away. But apparently, someone called, the grandson walking in the road, trying to die, because of having the grandma on the phone was trying to convince him to, because she feels so lonely up there and she wants company because her and the grandson had such a great relationship. And at the end, the dad just grabs the phone, barely believing it, look, it's not fair, he's only 6, and then she lets him go. No matter when you watch that, that's still, I mean, it's not an obvious message of oh, don't tell 6-year-olds to try to die, due to and telephones, communicating with the dead. It's still something you can watch anytime. I just feel dates it, especially when the doctor says bloody fam. I mean, it's quirky because I don't know, the doctor's an alien, obviously wouldn't know what that means, but yeah, it's like the least good. There you go. It's the least good. Well, then again, to me, Rose is probably still at the top, which is the 3rd episode. Then The Woman Who Fell to Earth, the 1st episode. But between Ghost Monument and this, it's what was more memorable and which I would watch again. Probably Ghost Monument more than this one, perhaps. Or maybe this one more, because this one, had a lot of character stuff. First one, main thing I remember is I don't know, really nice shots and the TARDIS at the end, and I don't know, evil cloths. So I don't know. But I feel like Ghost Monument had a bit more momentum and just had more things about it than Arachnids in the UK. So probably the least good so far. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have a drink of water after this. But yeah, that's that one. Out of 10, maybe at it was mediocre, a bit below average, not horrendous, but yeah. Again, like I said, CGI was surprisingly good. And I don't know why everyone was there's some some of the character dialogue's a bit unnecessary. They overly explain things a bit too much, or they're just overly mean to a character asking a question. Yaz's mum was "Who's the doctor? Who are you? What's been going on? Who are these people?" Fair enough question. But Yaz is just "Oh, shut up, mum." I'm alright, but she just wants a bloody calm down. So yeah, that's that. As for the other episodes to touch on from last time, I think I mentioned everything I needed to say. I was just in a bit of a rush. I can't really cast my mind back that far now. Eventually I'll rewatch them. Yeah, episode 4. That's that. It's just a politicising stuff. I just don't really care for it. I mean, of course it's up to them. It's just, I don't know, it makes it clear just when it was written. Can't pronounce my R's right. When is it raining? So yeah. Oh well, we might as well just talk about some other stuff. What else is there? I'm only on episode 1 of season 3 of Daredevil. I'm more, even though I do a theatre course, out of movies, TVs, and theatre, I'm more of a film person. I'm more knowledgeable of it. At least I like to think so. Not like a big-headed way, but I hope I never come across on the show. I keep calling it a show. I like it to feel professional. But sorry, that was gross. When it comes to TV, I don't really watch the must-sees. I think I've only seen 2 episodes of Walking Dead, 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. Maybe one day I'll get into Game of Thrones, even though a lot of the spoilers I've heard there and there, so when I see the imagery I'll just recognise it and I'll just spoil it for myself so I can get attached. But Daredevil Season 1, I've seen all the Marvel Netflix shows except Jessica Jones Season 2, and even though this is my favourite superhero, his show's now cancelled. I don't know if it's Season 2. Bit of a change of topic, but it's still something related. I've only watched episode 1 of Daredevil Season 3, and I'll get to the rest of that. This does make it very clear this is all very unstructured, very rambly. I mean, the most planning I do is just knowing what I'm going to review and talk about as much as I possibly can and make those little intros, because it makes me feel like, oh, look at that. It also gives me like a good 50 seconds to just, God, am I doing this right? But then again, I guess there's no right way. And, but yeah, I just feel this makes it feel more genuine. If I was on BBC Radio 1, I'll probably be more, I know what I'm gonna say. Well, I know what I'm gonna say, but like more so, you know what I mean. Yeah, we can talk about Doctor Who more. We have like 13 minutes left. I don't want to end the show early. I want to use it as much as I can, but if I feel like I don't have much more to say, there you go. And then when I get out the door, I'll think of more things to say, and I'll kick myself. Like literally, I'll just stand there and kick myself with my own foot. And also get a bloody strepsil, because I think I've well established, unless I made your ears bleed by now, like, oh, this guy's coughing too much and it's hurting my ears, I'm going to leave now, which I completely understand. But Doctor Who so far, because when it comes to the Doctors, now I've already said I don't really have a favourite Doctor, but my most conventional answer is David Tennant. But so far, Jodie's doing a good job. She so far the characteristics are just constantly just like, there's only a few moments of sternness or a few moments of potential melancholy loneliness in her face. But besides that, like, very just constantly bubbly, a bit show-offy, very excitable. So she's gotten that down. So far it is going well. It's got a good variety between these 4 episodes. Next week looks like it's based on a hospital, I think. Which, of course, gotta tune in for that. But yeah, but they said like that. Yeah, it's not gonna have story arcs like a Bad Wolf or a Vote Saxon. It's gonna be very standalone. But even though in episode 2, like I said last time, those cloths are saying about the timeless child, so that might lead somewhere. So I'm just gonna keep apologizing. I do apologize because I'm about to cough again. Here I go. Yeah, this definitely makes it more genuine. I mean, if this was recorded, I'll just edit out the coughs, but the fact that I'm coughing and sniffing, wow, it's just live for anyone to tune in and listen to. Hey, I wonder what's on the SU radio right now. Tune in, just me coughing. Like, oh, okay, I'm not going to listen now. Then it doesn't give a good impression. But so far is doing well. Like yesterday, with Cameron, who I'm just going to pretend you know him, because for those of you who listen to Slightly Speaking on Wednesdays 5 to 6, shameless plug. Don't worry, then it just won't be me, which makes it a good, more back and forth, because I'm back and forthing with my own conscience, which is something to behold. In a good light, I don't know. But anyway, he just put on series 1, and we watched the second part of the Slitheen 2-part in episode 1 and Dalek, which it still holds up very, very well. It does. Oh, of course, you know, the Slotheens farting away, and having baby faces, they're adorable. I could tell just how heavy those animatronics were, because sometimes the mouths on the Slotheens were just hanging open and the words weren't going. But it's still very good for 2005 and for the first series. So I got a bit of a cold. I'm just gonna constantly apologise for my own body doing something I cannot control. So I'm just scrolling. Just so I'm ready for when the show wraps up, I could just put it back on, because last time I was packing, I'm like, oh, bye guys. There you go, that's ready. So we got 9 minutes left. Let's milk this for its worth. This really shows I need more notes, but that's the thing. Like, that's the only movie I've seen, and I talked about Doctor Who last time. I'm just going to make that a constant thing, and I talked about as much as I could. Oh, God. Yeah, I need some water after this. Oh, man, I feel bad because it doesn't make it entertaining when there's like a good 4 seconds, because I feel obligated. No awkward space, but that's the thing, there is no pressure. This is just a laid back radio show where I just review stuff for like a good hour. The next movie I'm going to try and see is Bad Times at the El Royale. I doubt Predators in cinemas anymore. What else? Oh gosh, it popped in my head. Oh, what was it? Bohemian Rhapsody. That was it. I'm going to try and see that. Apparently it's meh. It looks very conventional because from what I hear, make this the prelude if I actually review it next week. But Freddie Mercury had a very crazy life. Apparently, I heard this fact somewhere that after every song in this concert, he'd go off stage and have sex with a guy, go back on for the other song. Don't know if that's actually true. Don't know how to Google it to check if it is. But apparently the movie was just very conventional, which the trailer did look like. It didn't really show the craziness of his life, more just like, oh, you're a legend, Freddie, da 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 da. But still, the music that I'm looking forward to, because I like Queen. I very much like Queen. So, Doctor Who. I'm just thinking if there's anything else to talk about regarding Doctor Who. I'm sure I'm gonna watch a few reviews that brings up stuff I didn't think of. Oh, they use Stormzy to attract the spiders. My noise when that was like, oh, no way. Mainly in the sense of when they made Doctor Who, 53, 4, 5 odd years ago. This little educational sci-fi show about traveling through space and time. Who knew all this time later it was going to have an episode where they use Stormzy to attract spiders. Good times. Good times. I mean, there was the bit at the beginning where, like, in episode 4, when I was just talking about, and I kind of went off track, and now I'm just going to jump back on that bandwagon, is where the Doctor's clearly very lonely, and Yaz is like, do you want to come in for tea? And she instantly goes, yes, which coincidentally, compared to the episode I watched yesterday, the second part of the Slithian two-part in Series 1, Chris Agus was like, no, I don't do that. No, I'm good. I don't, that's not my life. And now, I guess it just shows the progression, even though Peter Capaldi got back into that grumpy stage, like he doesn't know if he was much of a hugger anymore and all that. But yeah, it's still, it's not bad. Yaz's family, sister kind of annoyed me. There was a lot of shipping in this episode. I've always saw an article saying, oh, does Yaz have a crush on the Doctor? Which I don't think the Doctor really should have any. Like, I know there's him and River Song, but I guess that was a bit of a fluke, because the Doctor's an alien. Like, the Time Lords are, I would have thought, like, it's a bit like Jedi, and compared Time Lords to Jedi, they don't have time for love. But then again, the Doctor's a very empathetic person. But I hope, I don't know, nothing romantic occurs. Like, if there's eventually the Doctor, I don't know, kisses Yaz or something, I'll just see it like just a bit unnecessary. Like, you don't have to do that. There's no reason to. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have Ryan and Yaz get together. That seems to be the obvious choice. But I just want more Graham, really, because Graham's just the best. The parts with when he was at his spouse's, his past spouse's home, and he sees glimpses of her, and she says some things. I felt like, even though Stephen Moffat's no longer writing, that was something that was in the series 4. I can't remember which episode of series 4 of Sherlock, with Watson and his wife, whose name I can no longer remember, popping up here and there. So But then again, you know, I think that's happened before then anyway. What else is there? Yeah. I still really like the TARDIS. It showed a bit more of the TARDIS, and it looks good. It does look so good. When at the end, when they're gonna board the TARDIS and the TARDIS doors open, obviously when they film it, they just build the TARDIS and they just angle it so you don't really see the inside. Well, sometimes they do, but just a bit of camera trickery or green screen or something. And but since, I don't know if this was on purpose, but because the interior of the TARDIS has like 2 extra like bits of like windows, like a bit of a corridor, they could angle it so it's like, oh no, that's not the inside of this random model TARDIS. That's the corridor. So it is like, so like it. What I'm saying is, it just makes it easier to make it seem like, oh no, we're not just gonna cut to a different location, because they built it so like the inside of that TARDIS has like the corridor thing. Maybe that was on purpose when they were designing it. Good 2 minutes left. Good old 2 minutes left. But yeah, I hope everyone had a happy Halloween. Here's to November. I can't wait for Christmas. It's gonna be a good time. Sorry again, if very rambly. But when it's just me on my own, that could tend to happen. But hopefully, I got how I feel about the things I talked about across. But hopefully next week I'll have more adrenaline, because I got a bad cough and a sniffy nose, and I'll be like, yeah. So if I sound a bit relaxed, it's probably because, you know, I'm just leaning back in the chair most of the time when I was talking. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good Halloween. If you have any requests for me to what to review, be it old movies or new movies, I have, like I said last time, I have a Hotmail account. Well, an email address, I should say. I used it for my YouTube channel, also called Deano Reviews. If you want to look that up, it's not an advertisement. There's nothing to write home about. I don't know if I'd say I was proud of it. But it's Deano Reviews, DEANO Reviews at hotmail.co.uk, all lowercase. If you want to feedback, I'd love feedback. Obviously, I assume the main note is like, I don't know, don't enunciate and, I don't know, like swallow and like punctuate words so close to the microphone so they don't hurt your people's ears. So I just type. And also not to ramble, and also you should have notes. But yes, I hope this just comes across just very relaxed and chilled out. I'm just going to talk about some stuff I've seen. I don't think of myself as a professional, but hopefully I've added my personality to the table. Wacky antics, and it's gone 6 o'clock. Yeah, obviously I dragged that out a bit. I went on a bit off the rails near the end, but thank you all very much for listening. I'll see you guys. Well, you can see me next Wednesday, 5 to 6, with me and my friend Cameron, and then on Thursday, same thing again, and see what I'll get around to watching. You know what? One more cough of the road. That was forced. I just wanted it to have a bit of closure. Oh dear. Hopefully I'll get better. Yeah. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
The greatest students' union on the planet.